Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sitting in a BMW. It's a friend's BMW and it's a 335D, and in this video I'm going to try and address, is this car the diesel M3 of the era? Now the reason why I'm not outside is because you might be able to see there's a crane right up there and they are sandblasting that building behind there, and there's a lot of noise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a walk around of the car. I'm going to throw in all the pan shots about this car so you can obviously see what this car is about. It's in a proper mint condition, this car is. So I'll give you the kind of lowdown on this car, and then we're going to take it on those country lanes and give you my driving impressions and see if it is that diesel M3. So the BMW E90 335D, this one's finished off in sapphire black. It's quite a highly spec 335D. From the front you can see that it's got the Bison headlights, it's got the black grille as well, which always looks nice on a black car. It's got the 18-inch M alloy wheels. These are wrapped in the fantastic Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres. So this car was probably the ultimate daily for its time. I still think that it's aged really well. So moving to the rear end of the car, I really like the LCI taillights because I think they look way cooler compared to the pre-LCI. The 335D always has a twin exit exhaust system, one on each side, which I think looks really like beefy from the rear end. Let me know what you guys think of the way this car looks. Let's move on to the interior. This one features a grey interior, which I personally think really sets the car off. The black on the outside with like the grey on the inside, I think personally it really sets you off. I've seen that in so many BMWs which generally tend to have a black on black. This one obviously is a grey on the inside versus a black exterior. Like I say, it's quite a highly spec'd car. It's got electric seats with memory function on the driver's side. It's got the 6-speed ZF gearbox. So it's also got the iDrive system on this car, which is the second iteration, and the steering wheel as well. It's leather wrapped. It's pretty much in decent nick as well, so there's no real tears going off in any places. The leather is all intact. So these paddle shifters are quite unusual because you can upshift and downshift on the same paddle. It's pretty handy when you are like say driving, like say with one hand, so you can be upshifting and downshifting on the same paddle. If this car was a 2010 model year car, it would come with the more standard looking paddles where you can, you've got the downshift there and the upshift on this one. This is a 2009, a late 2009 model year car, and therefore it featured this type of a paddle shift. It'd be really cool to kind of use these on the road to see what these actually feel like, so I'm quite excited about that. So this is the power plant of the 335D. It's a 3 litre straight 6 twin turbo engine. It has around 290 horsepower, but the key figure is the torque figure. The torque on this is 580 newton meters of torque. Now just to put that into perspective, that's 180 newton meters more torque than you would get on the V8 E90 M3. Now that car is obviously naturally aspirated, this being a diesel and twin turbos. That's where the torque comes in, so it'll be really interesting to see how this car really drives on those country lanes and how it puts the power down. E90 335D. I've never been in one, so this vid is going to be a full-on impressions vid only because my first time in one. I've been in E90s and I've been in an E90 V8 M3 and I've been in like other lesser models as well, but I've not really been in a 335D. And my first impression of this car is that power unit. That 286 6-cylinder twin turbo engine is silky smooth. It doesn't even sound like a diesel. It doesn't even give you that horrible diesel vibration. It's a proper engine that. Then we've got the gearbox. Now admittedly it's not the 8-speed ZF gearbox, but it is the ZF 6-speed in this, and the characteristics between this and the 8-speed ZF are fairly similar in that it still has the sort of quick gear shifts between, like when you're downshifting or when you're upshifting, and if you catch it right and you plant the throttle, the car just shoots off. I mean, this car, like I say, has got 286 horsepower, but it's the torque figure, 580 newton meters of torque. That torque figure is immense, and we're going to give you some impressions of that as well on the fly. So the road today is quite wet. There's a lot of standing water. The roads are quite damp as well in places, but the car doesn't seem to break traction. As you can see, I'm just flinging it around an S-bend there, and the reason for that is the tyre situation. The car is running Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres, which then basically means that they're actually set up for this type of road today, and that's quite impressive, because generally speaking, every time I'm on this particular road with cars that are wearing pretty shit tyres, what tends to happen is I can't floor it through that S-bend like the way I have done, because the car will be all over the place, regardless of whether it's a rear wheel drive car or a four-wheel drive car or a front wheel drive. That is just the way it is. Do not, guys, skimp on, like say, your tyres if you're trying to run more power with your car. This car is quite stock with the power, but it's just about right. I mean, it's got enough power, it's got enough torque. Like I say, that 580 newton meters of torque figure, you can really use it. The steering, again, is quite direct. I got a feeling this steering is probably more hydraulic compared to like more modern ones, which are more like electronic, and with that you don't really get like a good sort of steering feel, whereas with this you're getting a real good steering feel. You know exactly what the front tires are doing. You can feel that straight through to the palm of your hands, which then gives you more confidence, because you can really put the car where you want to, like say, position it on the road. The value for these cars is just amazing amount of car that you get for the price these days. I mean, we were just having a look on Auto Trader earlier on. You can get one in this condition. I would put this as mint condition for the age of this car, and this again is quite a highly spec car. Like I said, you've got the electric seats, you've got the iDrive system as well, and you've got the auto gearbox in this, and sub 10k would get you a real fine example, a car that's been well cherished, well kind of maintained throughout its ownership as well, like this one has by the owner, because there's hardly any marks around the car. It's been ceramic coated as well, so if the car gets dirty on this kind of like drive today, it's just going to get like power washed off, and you know, all the muck's going to come off quite easily. So sub 10k you'd get something like this, and to be honest with you, that is phenomenal value for the amount of car that you're going to be getting. Okay, so I've just taken the traction off the car. Some of you might be thinking that's not so wise, but that's how I normally drive the cars anyway. And I put the car into its sports gearbox mode. There's no other fiddly kind of sports mode buttons like the way you find in, like say, more modern BMWs. It's just a sports gearbox, and we're gonna fully send it around some, you know, lanes and whatnot. And again, I'll give you an impression of that. I really want to see how this actually goes off the line. There's a little junction up ahead where I normally get my cars a little bit sideways, so we'll see how that sort of pans out. Look at that, guys. That was me with like full throttle going around that turn, and there was no slip whatsoever. So the traction on this car is pretty amazing. I'm driving without any traction on, and it's not braking traction, which is okay. Some of you might be thinking, well, that's a bit boring, but the thing is, it's giving me a lot of confidence driving this car to its full potential. Floppy paddle mode, when you're catching the revs right between 3,500 RPM and the second turbo kicks in, the car just flies. I've got no doubt to say that this on the fly is probably quicker than the E90 M3, and the only reason I'm saying that is that torque figure. Once you're catching that torque figure, it just goes. Yes, the M3 V8 will allow you to rev the car out, it wants you to like chase that red line being like NA. With this, it's just so much more effortless to drive, and that you can't beat for an everyday car. With the M3 V8, with that SMG gearbox or the DCT, however you want to say, it's very notchy in its operation. This, obviously being a slush box, it just slushes the gears quite well. And as a daily, if you want a car that you can drive every day, get 50 miles per gallon, this is the car. Sub 10k, get one of these, you will not regret it. There's a bit of play there. Flipping amazing. I cannot believe, right, that this car is like, say, over 10 years old and is performing like the way this is. It's just a testament to the owner who's like kept this car in like a tip-top condition. And like I say again, getting one of these for around 10k, it's the bargain of the century. So I know there's going to be some of you guys out there that are going to be saying, mate, I've got a 330 diesel and I've got it mapped and it's going to be producing more power than this. Well, this isn't even mapped, so imagine if you put a stage 1, stage 2 and start tuning this car. The power output is going to be phenomenally higher compared to a 330 diesel, because the 330 diesel is a single turbo. This has got the twin turbo on it, so you're just going to be upping the power much more easily on this compared to a 330 diesel. Now, if you are looking at getting a 330 diesel or thinking a 330 diesel or a 335D, the 335D is a little bit more rare, especially if you can find like a high spec one. I will personally say just go ahead and get a 335D if it fits your budget, and if you can get one with this level of spec, because it's, trust me, it's a complete car. So guys, I'm going to end the vid there. I think I've given you my impressions of this car. I think it's an amazing car, even compared to like say modern cars, and this is from an era of like say 10 years ago. Huge shout out to my mate who's allowed me to take his pride and joy out on the country lanes and rag it around a bit where I usually do all my driving. There was a car on the channel not long ago which was the Golf GTI Edition 35 that also belongs to the same friend of mine. So definitely check that vid out. I also did a vid on the F30 335 diesel, and I put that up against my M140i about a year ago, so I'll link that vid in the description as well. So guys, if you have found this video useful and informative, definitely give it a like, share, subscribe and comment in the comment section below. Hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.